Okay, so in the last lecture, I started the topic quality assurance, right? So just quick revision. Quality assurance, as we know that this is quality assurance is applicable with project, with processes, as well as with the product. And we can assure the quality by using the various quality models for processes as well as for product and project, right? So in the last lecture, I covered the product quality models. So I discussed four quality models with you. The first is McCall's quality model, second one is Forbes, third one is Droomy, and the fourth one is Bohem quality model. And out of four, as I told earlier, the first two quality models are important. And if you compare again the first and second, so again the first one is very much popular and very useful because of it covers all the points. It covers all the quality characteristics under the three sections. The first section is product operation, second is product revision and a transition, correct? But if you consider Forbes, it covers only the 5 characteristics, and McCall's it covered total 11 characteristics. This is all about the last lecture contents. Now today we will start with the process quality model. So the first you must know, what do you mean by processes? So processes means set of activities or set of multiple tasks, right? So if you consider we are using multiple processes and we are aware about the multiple processes. The first example is the SDLC. SDLC is the very common example of process, and why we use this process? This process is used to develop the software. Okay, again if you consider the example of RAD, that is rapid application development. So again this is the example of process, and what is the objective of this process? To develop the software. Similarly, if you consider the spiral model, so again a spiral model is the example of process, and why we use this process? For software development. Clear? Consider the fourth example, the software testing life cycle. Again this is the example of process. Why it is process? Because it consists of multiple steps. Steps include identification of requirement, preparation
How
of test
different is
plan.
the cyclic model different? Like how the spider model different from cyclic model? Is it like
uh,
very different?
See, spiral is cyclic in nature, right? But although it is a cyclic, but it is an example of process. See, the process can be two types. Either process can be complete sequential process, or it can be a cyclic process. So if you compare the SDLC, the software development life cycle, as well as the spiral model, so the similarities both are the example of processes, but the nature of the first model is sequential and nature of the second model is it is cyclic in nature. Clear? Hello? Uh, Agnelis, it is
Yes,
clear?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the if you consider we are talking about the testing life cycle. So again, testing life cycle is an example of process, right? Consider the third example, the defect life cycle. Yes, again, this is an example of process. Why it is known as a process? Because if you remember the phases of the defect life cycle, the defect life cycle starts with identification of defect. After identification of defect, we will assign a specific unique number to each and every defect. Then we will identify from which module it belongs to. After identification of module, then we will check it is related to which functionality, because any module consists of multiple functionality. Module consists of various features, so you have to identify again, go in detail. That means if it is a module A, then you find out on which feature. Okay, after identification of the particular feature, then we will assign this defect to a person Okay, and after assigning that person, the individual, he will start working on that. After completion, then we will again verify it. After verification, if everything is correct, if the defect is resolved, we will close that process. Otherwise, we will continue. So we can say that again, the defect management process is cyclic in nature. Other than this, if you means consider the another example other than software development life cycle, I will give you the another different example, the stakeholder management process. If you consider any business, if you consider any business, as we know that for to run any business, we require multiple people, we require multiple individual. Okay, and suppose if in your team there are different people with different interest, with different behavioral skills, then you have to manage the entire team. Okay, this management of people is known as a stakeholder management. Clear? So stakeholder management is an important process for any business. Clear? And this stakeholder management process consists of total 4 steps. Okay, so I will share you the steps. One second, I will share you my screen. Hello, is this diagram is visible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So this is the stakeholder management process. See, first I will read the definition. The definition says that, okay, uh, it is the process by which you organize, monitor, and improve your relationship with your stakeholder. It involves systematically identifying stakeholder, analyzing their needs and expectation, and planning and implementing various tasks to engage them. That means, for if you want to manage the stakeholders, you have to perform all these steps, and steps are, the first is stakeholder identification, the second one is stakeholder analysis, the third one is stakeholder communication, and last one is stakeholder engagement. I will explain you what is the meaning of all these terms. Assume that you are working on any project for ABC company. Clear? So for a project, you have to identify the person, you have to identify the people. Clear? So for identification of people, there are multiple ways. I will tell you one by one. The first one is I can conduct the interview process. Okay, and based on the interview result, I can select the people or I can select the person. This is the one way. What is the another way? The another way is I can, with the help of voting process. With the help of voting, I can select the person. Okay, then the third one is the polling and voting almost same. Okay, the third thing is the mouth publicity, the leader. The suppose, for example, in a group, there is one person who is a leader in that group. So based on the leadership skills, or we can say that the mouth publicity, ऐसा होता है ना, किसी एक बंदे का बहुत ज़्यादा नाम होता है, तो उस बंदे को आप उस बेसिस पे सेलेक्ट कर सकते हो. This is the third way. And the fourth way is you do one thing, you schedule a test, sort of test, and based on the result, you check their, based on the skills and based on the result of that quiz, you can select the person accordingly. So we can say that for stakeholder identification, there are multiple ways. Okay, and we can select any ways based on our suitability or feasibility. Clear? After analyzing, after identification or after selecting the person, The next one is you have to analyze that person. What do you mean by analysis? Analysis means we can check the different skills of a single person, because as we know that there are different types of skills. Skills can be technical skills, leadership skills, okay, soft skill, behavioral skill, operational skills, and etc etc. Clear? So we will do one thing. After selecting the person A, B, C, suppose I selected 3 person A, B and C, then I will consider one by one individual. For first candidate, for first individual A, I will analyze all the skills. I will analyze the technical skills, okay, then the soft skill, behavioral skills, all. I will perform the deep analysis for that person, okay, then for B and then for C. After analysis, then the third one is stakeholder engagement. What do you mean by stakeholder engagement? The meaning of stakeholder engagement is based on the analysis report. Based on the analysis report, you have to allocate or you have to engage that person accordingly. Assume that person A, B and C. A is good in programming, B is good in testing, and C is good in business requirement analysis, means the analytical part. He is good in analytics. A is good in programming, B is in testing, C is in good analytical mind. This is my analysis report, but there are two cases. Case one is, suppose I allocate or I engage the person based on the analysis report. In that case, I can achieve the quality. I can satisfy my customer. I can satisfy my client. But consider the case number two. The case number two is, instead of checking the analysis report, I allocate the task or I engage the person randomly. A is good in programming, B is in testing, C is good in analytics, right? So instead of this, I allocated A to analytical part, B to programming part and C to testing part. इसमें आपने क्या किया हुआ है? इसमें आपने shuffling कर दी हुई है, आपने random allocation किया हुआ है, random engagement किया हुआ है. So in that case, I cannot achieve the quality. Okay, and yeah, so in that case, I cannot achieve the quality. So the thing is, based on these skills or based on the analysis report, you have to allocate the person accordingly. Okay, and the last one is communication. The communication is very simple because we have a long discussion on communication management. Clear? So there are different communication channels you can select for your business. So the point is, this is the stakeholder management process. So just now I discussed 4 processes with you. The first one is your software development process, the SDLC with different variants, spiral, RAD, increment and all that. Okay, and if you compare the SDLC with spiral, the objective is same. We use these models for development process, for software development, but the nature is different. The first nature is serial, sequential, and the nature of the second model is cyclic. Clear? So the first category I have taken the software development. Second type of process model I have considered the testing life cycle. The third for defect, and the fourth one is completely different part, that is the stakeholder management process. So here I want to say that we will discuss the total 3 process quality model. The first one is PDCA, that is plan, do, check in action. The second will be the Six Sigma. Third will be CMM, that is capability maturity model. And the fourth one is ISO. So we will discuss all four quality model under the umbrella of process quality models. Clear? And the important point is, these all process quality models are not limited only with IT project. We can use these quality models anywhere for any projects. Suppose consider 2 different projects. One is completely IT and second one is non-IT. नॉन आईटी में आप कुछ भी ले लो. You can consider the project from automobile industry, you can consider the project from pharma, you can consider the project from textile business. So consider any project. The thing is, we can apply all these process quality model for any project. Clear? Hello, is it clear now? Hello, any doubt? Okay, so this is the background of the different example of processes. So the first three examples which I gave you, they are the processes from IT projects, and the fourth one, the stakeholder management processes. This is applicable with both the categories for IT as well as for non-IT project. Okay, so this is the summary of the processes. Now we will start with the quality model. So 1 minute, I will share the screen. Okay, so can you see this screen? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the first quality model. Okay, and the name of this quality model is Deeming Circle. Clear? So Deeming is the person who proposed this model. Okay, that's why it is named as Deeming Cycle or Deeming Circle, and it is also known as PDCA, that is Plan, Do, Check in Action. Clear? So the again, this is the very simple and very important quality model, and the point is same. We can apply anywhere, any type of project. Okay, and see, this is cyclic in nature. Why it is cyclic in nature? Because on the basis of the action, on the basis of action, if the action is means mm, if there is some problem in the process, then we will reiterate the cycle, otherwise we can stop the cycle. So again, in act, after checking, there are two conditions. If it is okay, then we will stop the process, otherwise we will take some corrective actions, and then start the cycle once again. Clear? So I will explain this PDCA cycle with the help of this stakeholder management process. Clear? So you remember that for stakeholder management process, the step number 1 is identification of stakeholder. Step number 2, stakeholder analysis. Step number 3, stakeholder engagement, and the last one is the stakeholder communication. So suppose what is the first phase of PDCA? The first phase of PDCA is plan. So in case of planning, now the thing is how you apply this PDCA to any process, or how you apply this PDCA to the stakeholder management process. So the step number 1 is planning. So planning में आप क्या करोगे? In planning phase, first we will identify which selecting technique we will use. Stakeholder selection. As I told earlier, there are multiple ways. You can conduct the interview, okay. You can conduct a quiz or test sort of. Then we can schedule a voting process, and we can conduct the polling also. So you have 4-5 options. So in planning, you have to write one by one point, one by one step of a stakeholder management process and plan accordingly. So suppose I have 3 options. So select any one or mention everything in your plan document. Again, if you move to the second step, what is the second step? That is the stakeholder analysis. So during the analysis process, because there are multiple skills, right? So what is your exact requirement? What is your business requirement? So based on your business requirement, we will analyze the individual. पूरा एनालाइज करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. What do you want in your business? जो भी आपको चाहिए है, you analyze or you prepare the analysis report accordingly. Clear? So this is, here you have to mention the methodology, here you have to mention the approaches. Clear? So everything comes under the planning. Then the third thing is stakeholder engagement. So for stakeholder engagement, you have to find out the areas, working areas, कि कहाँ कहाँ इंडिविजुअल को या कहाँ कहाँ बंदों को आपको अलोकेट करना है. बिकॉज इन कंपनी, बिकॉज इन एनी बिजनेस देर आर डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स. Okay, consider the account department, consider the HR department, marketing, sales, purchase, etc. Okay, so stakeholder engagement means you have to find out the vacant position, or you have to identify the you have to identify the department where we want people or where we want person. Okay, so after identification of working area, then based on the analysis report, we will engage the person in that department specifically. Clear? So everything comes under planning. Now what do you mean by do? The do means whatever you have prepared or whatever you have documented in plan document, okay, you have to start working accordingly. Okay, after this, the third one is checking. So checking means again you have to verify all the things. Clear? So in that case, you are studying the verification validation subject. So verification means you have to only statically verify the things. आपको उसमें टेस्टिंग वेस्टिंग कुछ नहीं करनी है. You have to only verify the things. Clear? And based on the verification report, we will fix the action. Clear? So this is your PDCA cycle. Hello, is it clear? And see, there is one important advantage. There are various advantages of PDCA cycle, but one advantage I want to share with you, that PDCA is used for continuous improvement. PDCA is used for continuous improvement, and here the focus is on continuous improvement. Why continuous improvement? Because you can use this, because it is very simple. PDCA is very simple. So in that case, this is the plus point. That's why this process model we can use anywhere. ऐसा नहीं है कि मॉड्यूल ए में यूज़ किया मॉड्यूल बी में यूज़ नहीं कर सकते हो. So that is not the case with PDCA. PDCA is applicable with all type of module, whether it is a simple or it is a complex module. Clear? So that's why this model is also used for continuous improvement of a process, or in another word we can say that if you want to increase the quality of the any process, the PDCA is the best one, because of simplicity, because of easy implementation, because of first is simple, second one is the first one is simple. What is the second point? I just forget. Anybody remember the second point? I think the first is simple. The second one is we can, yes, applicability. We can apply anywhere in any module. Okay. And what is the third one? The third one is it is not dependent on मॉड्यूल डिपेंडेंसी नहीं है इसमें. ओके, सो दिस इज द मॉड्यूल इंडिपेंडेंट क्वालिटी मॉडल. क्लियर? सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट वन. एनी डाउट? हेलो, एनी डाउट? Okay, so after PDCA, the next thing is the another quality model is Six Sigma. Okay, so one second, I will open the, I will start sharing. Hello? Yeah. Hello, can you see the screen? Six Sigma top 5 principle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so again, the Six Sigma is very important. So generally, if you consider any quality model, there are different principles. So on the screen, there are total 5 principles are mentioned for Six Sigma. The first one is the consistent and practical approach to reap profitable results, involve a strong problem solving team, eliminate variations eliminate variations to improve processes. The fourth one is the data accuracy that helps find the root cause of the problem, and the fifth one is focus on customer requirements. Clear? So if you consider first, second and third, if you consider the first, second and third, so the first, second, third points are very simple. No explanation is required for all 3 points, but the fourth and fifth point are very important. So I will start first with the last point, that is focus on customer requirement. Why this is one of the most important principle of Six Sigma? The reason is, as we know that the requirement collection, this is the first phase of any processes. This is the first phase for any project, in fact. Clear? So the thing is, when we collect the requirement from the customer, you have to document somewhere, right? For documentation purpose, for requirement documentation, we can prepare, not can, we should prepare the different articles or different documents. Documents can be, the first one is the BRD document, the second one is PRD document, as well as the third one is the SRS document. The difference is, or the long form is, BRD is a business requirement document, PRD stands for project requirement document, and the SRS is a software requirement specification. So the thing is, if you compare all three documents or all three artifacts, the similarity is we will document the customer requirement only. That means if you consider BRD, if you consider PRD, or if you consider SRS, the thing is we can use these artifacts only for documenting purpose, only for requirement documentation. But the difference is we can document the requirement in a different ways. The first way is, if you consider the first document, that is the BRD document. So as the name indicates, business requirement document, that means in this document we will first prepare the use case diagram, and based on each use case we will identify or we will document the requirement accordingly. Clear? This is the objective of BRD document. If you consider PRD, that is project requirement document, so in project requirement document again we will mention or we will document the requirement given by the customer only. Okay, in project requirement document the first point is we will write first the timeline. Okay, suppose the customer wants the particular project should complete within 1 year or within 2 years, that means you have to document it somewhere. Okay. So regarding the timeline, regarding the cost, regarding the resources, everything we will mention in our PRD document, that is project requirement specification. After that, we have that SRS document. What is the objective of SRS document? Actually, if you compare BRD and SRS, so the difference between these two documents is, in SRS we will consider one by one use case and define the functional as well as non-functional requirement accordingly. Clear? So देखो अभी मैंने आपको ये तीनों डॉक्यूमेंट के बारे में अलग अलग बताया हुआ है, बट हियर द इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, वाई आई एम डिस्कसिंग ऑल दीज पॉइंट्स, वाई is this important at this moment? Yes, they are important for this moment because as we know that one of the principle of Six Sigma is focus on customer requirement. Because see, there is a linkage, and what is the link? The link is, if you want to achieve, the first point is the Six Sigma is a quality model. If you want to apply the quality model, you have to focus on the customer, you have to focuses on the client. Then focuses means you have to consider all the expectations of your customer or the client. जब आपका client, when your client will satisfy, then only we can get the good quality. Okay, so that everything is dependent on each other. अगर आपने रिक्वायरमेंट प्रॉपरली कलेक्ट की हुई हैं, प्रॉपरली डॉक्यूमेंट की हुई हैं, ऑलरेडी ऑटोमेटिकली आपका प्रोसेस जो होगा इट विल स्मूथ प्रोसेस, एंड इफ द प्रोसेस इज स्मूथ द प्रोजेक्ट विल स्मूथ, एंड इफ एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग गुड वी कैन अचीव द क्वालिटी, we can achieve the good quality for a particular process. Clear? So focus on customer requirement, this is the important point, or this is the important principle of Six Sigma. So I hope this point is clear to you all. Is there any doubt? Is there any doubt the principle of Six Sigma? Okay, the fourth principle of Six Sigma is data accuracy that helps to find the root cause of the problem. Now here my first question is, do you heard the root cause analysis? Do you heard the root cause analysis first?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so Nirmit, Can you briefly explain or can you briefly give the introduction of root cause analysis, what it is and why we used?
Is for identifying problems or events and an approach for responding to them.
Clear. So as the name is root cause analysis. So the thing is we will identify the problems, we will identify the causes as well as the roots also कि ये problem आया कहाँ से है, किस module से आया है. Okay, so if we find out the starting position, the starting point of any error or if any fault, then we will backtrack it and we will find out कि ये problem हुआ कैसे है, कहाँ से आया है and how we can resolve them. Clear? So the root cause problems and how to do the root cause analysis we will discuss in the next lecture, but this is just for your information that once again I will share you the screen. One second. I'm searching the template.
Templates. And more
Yeah,
templates.
yeah, I got. One second. Hmm. Yes. Can you see the screen now? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the thing is, we are talking about the principle of Six Sigma, right? So the fifth one we have already discussed. The focus is on customer requirement. The next thing is the root cause analysis. When we perform the root cause analysis for each and every individual point, we can get the good quality. That's why this is the important principle of Six Sigma. Clear? So the thing is now the question is how to do the root cause analysis. So for doing the root cause analysis, this is the way, this is the diagram, this is the template. Okay, I will tell you in root cause analysis, you have to identify the problem on the basis of a total 6 points, a total 6 parameters. The first one is, see, actually the diagram has two partition. The first one is, the first part is the right hand part and this is your the complete left hand part. In the right hand part, you define the problem. You define the problem statement in that box. Please see the cursor position. Okay, so in the in the right hand part you can define or you can mention the problem, clear. But in the right hand side, in the left hand side, you have to identify the causes on the basis of different parameters. For example, this is the problem. The first parameter is machine, the second one is method, third one is material. Okay, the fourth one is men or mind power. Okay, and the last one is the measurement or medium. Clear? So we have total 5 heads. Clear? And you have to write down the causes in this manner. You can define the multiple causes under the machine, under the method, under the material, as well as for mind power or measurement. Clear? Consider this example. We will discuss more in the next lecture also. See, in this particular example, they have considered the problem is 12% of the product fails inspection. 12% of product fails inspection for screw alignment. This is the problem, and they will identify the causes in each and every head. They have identified the causes, 2 causes from machine, 2 causes for methodology, 2 causes for material, 2 causes for mind power, as well as the measurement. You can include more than one causes also. Now in your mind एक क्वेश्चन आ रहा होगा, मैम व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ प्रिपेयरिंग दिस डायग्राम. ये तो हम ऐसे ही कर लेंगे. व्हाट इज द नीड ऑफ प्रिपेयरिंग और व्हाट इज द डूइंग दिस बोरिंग एक्सरसाइज. द एडवांटेज ऑफ दिस डायग्राम इज with the help of this diagram, at a glance we can see, okay, yes, this is the problem and these are the various causes. And when we will look one by one causes and find out the corrective action or the way we can solve this problem, automatically क्या हो जाएगा, आपका ये problem solve हो जाएगा. And once this problem is solved, automatically जो आपका जो प्रॉब्लम जो कस्टमर आपका सेटिस्फाई नहीं हो रहा था बिकॉज ऑफ मल्टीपल रीजन, बिकॉज ऑफ मल्टीपल प्रॉब्लम्स. सो व्हेन यू विल कंसीडर वन बाय वन प्रॉब्लम, और हर एक प्रॉब्लम का जब आप रूट कॉज एनालिसिस करोगे, सो इन दिस मैनर, बिकॉज ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा डीप में आप एनालिसिस कर रहे हो. ओके, सो व्हेन यू विल complete the root cause analysis for each and every problem, so this is my guarantee, automatically your all problems will resolve, all your project problems will resolve, and once the problem will resolve, automatically the quality will improve. This is only one and one formula, one and one principle. Clear? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So I think
Yes, ma'am.
these are the, one second. So again, move to the previous slide. So the Six Sigma top principles, the first and very important is focus on customer requirement. Although it is written number 5, but if I assign the number, my first number is for focus on customer requirement. This is point number 1. And point number 2 is data accuracy, that help to find out the root cause of the problem. That means the root cause is very important for each and every problem, because to improve the quality of a complete process. Okay, once the quality will improve for different processes, automatically आपका जो business होगा, आपका जो company होगा, 101% सक्सेस मिलने ही वाली है. So this is these are the different 5 principle. We will discuss more in detail in what is these are the principle. Okay, the techniques, everything we will discuss in the next lecture.